it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, your suet puddin', and I am here with another collab. This time I am collabing with the one and only Jan Vann on YouTube. She is, a YouTube friend. We've never met, but I really enjoy her videos, and the other day she said we should do a collab, and I knew exactly the perfect collab. Jan is a big fan. She and her husband love to go cruising, and I don't mean in a car looking for chicks. I mean out on the ocean, and I have to say I do as well, although here's the difference between Jan and I. Jan pays for her cruises and picks her destinations and goes. She and her husband enjoy their trips, whether they're long or short trips, whatever. I have only ever been on gay cruises and as a performer, so I've never really even paid for a cruise, if you understand what I'm saying. So my experience and my, reference for cruising is very, very different, because even though I'm on a ship and I'm going places and all of that jazz, it's still work. And it's weird because when you're on a boat and you perform or somebody like that, and then you're walking through the ship, people talk to you all the time. And I don't mean to go, ugh, people talk to you, but it reminds you that you're not on vacation. You are representing yourself. You're also to a lesser extent representing the cruise line because they've hired you. So it's just an interesting dichotomy. So I thought it would be great, because of our varied referencing and experiences with cruising, that we would do a collab about cruising. And we are going to be using the Blend Bunnies Blends and Primal. Now, the reason we're doing these two is, first of all, it's Pride Month. So this is a great rainbow palette, and I'm going to be using, this is all mattes this is the first palette that Blend Bunny ever did, and I love it. I've actually hit pan on the white. I'm very excited by that. It's very rare. I have a lot of makeup, and I try and use them all equally, so it's very rare that I hit pan. There's a couple, but I'm very excited about that. The other palette we're using is Primal, and the reason we're using this one is for this row here, the shimmers, because they're just stunning. And I thought it just would be a fun way to do our collab, because A, Jan and I both have these palettes, and B, I like Blend Bunny and I don't often get to use them. I'm going to be also using from Blend Bunnies my Noctilescent, the highlighter palette, the Juicy Cheeks palette as well. I've done my eyebrows. I used Blend Bunny. I actually used this palette for my eyebrows. I used a combination of these two colors. What are they? First Kiss and Truth. I blended those for the inner. And then I blended First Kiss and Barely. I blended these two and then blended these two, Barely and Enigma. And then I blended these two, Enigma and Mama Bear. And then I did the outside tail with Depth. Well named. So I have primed my eyes with my P. Louise Rumors Zero, and we are going to get started. So I'm going to take just a very, very, very small pencil brush. I don't know what this is. I couldn't tell you. Had it forever. And I'm going to start with this very, very dark purple. We're going to do a Pride look. So it's called Bewitched, but I'm going to also be using Spellbound above it. These are both two different dark purples. This one's a little bluer, lighter. And I'm going to use this darker one for the outside and this lighter one for the closer to my eyes. So we'll start with Spellbound on the pencil brush. And I'm just going to start. This is how I do my crease, because I have hooded eyes. So the best thing about being a drag queen is if you have hooded eyes, you just ignore them. Just move everything up an inch and you're good to go. The first question, very basic, cruising over traveling. I have to say, if you were to ask me, I wouldn't go on a cruise. Just first initial thing. The idea of being on a ship with a bunch of people and, having to deal with a bunch of people frightens me. I don't like crowds. I'm not a big fan of people in general. I prefer to kind of be left to my own devices and do my own thing. Now, here's the other thing. I've never been on vacation. I've never paid to go on a vacation. I always travel because of work, so it's just easier for me to vacation at home and, you know, have that downtime away from the maddening crowds. But after being on a cruise or two, I actually think cruising has its merits, and they're unique to themselves. If you are the type that just like to relax and hang out and don't mind saying hi to total strangers all the time, then go on a cruise. If you kind of like to do your own thing and be left alone, then maybe cruising isn't for you. But I would have to say, if I were going to pay for a trip, I think I would go on a cruise. I think you just get more bang for your buck on a cruise. Everything's covered. It's like being on an all-inclusive at sea. I'm just using a Jessup, it's a 223 pencil brush, a wide one, just to blend out what I've put on. Nothing too aggressive. As I say, I'm going to do a pride look, so I want to start with the darker color down here, and then I'm going to build it up. So question number 2 is, what is your favorite thing about a cruise? For me, it's the traveling without unpacking and packing. It's like your hotel, you're in a magic hotel, and every morning you wake up in a new country. I think that's my favorite thing, is that you get on the ship, you unpack, and you never have to pack again till you leave. And every morning you're in another country. This is a Trixie Mattel pencil brush, and I'm going to go into Chase, this very hot pink right here, and I'm going to put this on top of the purple. As I said, I'm doing a pride look, so I want color. Color, darling. So question number 3 is, what is the worst thing about being on a cruise? Well, the people. And I don't mean the people, ugh. I just mean there's a lot of people on a ship. And sometimes, especially like if you're going down to the dining room for dinner or trying to get off the ship at the port of call, everyone's doing it at the same time. And in some cases, you've got thousands and thousands of people on these ships. They're like floating malls. It's like, if you've ever been to Toronto to the Eaton Centre, that's what a cruise ship is like. It's like the whole entire Eaton Centre is out on the ocean. So it can be quite a lot of people, and they're all kind of heading in the same direction. Now, as I say, most of the time I have been on gay cruises, and I always travel alone. So I never ate in the dining room. I always went to the buffet, wherever the buffets were set up for lunch or dinner or wherever. That's where I would go and eat, because I could do it alone and have to sit with people. I'm quite shy. I don't really like to talk to people I don't know. I never go to parties by myself, even if I know the people. I'm too awkward to walk into a room alone, which is funny because as a host, as a comedian and a host, I have to talk to hundreds and hundreds of people I don't know. But in those cases, it's hundreds and hundreds of people. It's not like 8 people at a table or what have you. And I am a chatty person because I'm nervous. So if I'm in an uncomfortable situation, I'll just start talking to people. But my preference in life is to not talk to people I don't know. The other thing on a cruise ship is that, you know, you are kind of surrounded all the time. The only place you really get any kind of privacy or alone time is in your own room. And if you've booked a room with a balcony, then you can sit out on the balcony and enjoy the air and everything, but nobody's around. Ooh. So now I'm taking a P. Louise 264 pencil brush, and I'm going to go into this yellow because it's a true yellow. It is called Serendipity. You heard me. And I'm just going to put this on top of the pink now. So, question number 4. What is the one thing you wish you knew before you did your first cruise? I wish that I had been told by somebody not to cheap out on the drink package. You have to pay for your drinks on the cruise. Now, I think water, tea, and coffee are free. I don't think they charge you for those three things. But if you want soda, like any kind of pop, any kind of like fruit juices, that's a different drink package. You want to have maybe alcohol, you can get drink packages that are like 5 drinks a day, or however they work it out. They're really as varied as you want them to be. So the first time I went on a cruise, I'm not a big drinker, so I was fine not to drink. I think I got the basic one, which was pop, as well as I think it involved pop, sparkling water, anything like that, any kind of mix for a drink. That's the one I got, and I was all right with that. But trust me when I say, buy the full drink package, buy the full shebang, because here I am just having pop and water, and I'm all right with that. But you also, at some point, you're going to want to drink one or two, and you can buy a drink. You can spend your money on a drink, but it can get quite expensive. I'm going back into the color chase. I'm actually going to work back down through the colors. I'm just putting this back in just to blend it back into the yellow and the purple. Depending on the ship you're on, there are a lot of different bars all over the boat. There are martini bars, there are molecular bars. There's always like a Scotch bar, like it's almost like a men's lounge. It's very hunter green and leather trim, and it's all like scotches from around the world. And again, you can buy a scotch in there on your own. It gets charged to your room. So it can add up. I remember leaving my first cruise, and somebody who had been on the cruise who hadn't bought a drink package was almost crying at the concierge desk as we were leaving, because they had a bar tab to pay that was apparently quite high. It really knocked them out. And so just be aware of that. It can all add up. Everything gets added to the room, especially when you're drinking and you kind of, is that my second drink or my eighth? I can't remember, because they'll remind you. But I would highly recommend getting the deluxe, or at least, depending on your drinking, get the one that doesn't restrict you at all. And here's the main reason. When you go to dinner in the dining room, you get not only a waiter, but you also get a sommelier, and they will be there to help pair different wines with different courses of your meal. The food on a cruise ship is spectacular. I've been on cheap cruises, expensive cruises, short cruises, long cruises. The food is always spectacular. Our sommelier, she was so fabulous. She was, I don't know where she was from, the Ukraine, somewhere Slavic. Like she had that accent that's almost devoid of humor, and she was fantastic. One of the people in our group thought they were being particularly educated and said, "Oh, can we have this ice wine with our dessert?" And she said, "Yeah, or I could bring you something good." I loved her. She was so much fun. Every course that we had, she'd bring a different beverage. And I wasn't drinking to get hammered, but it was really nice to kind of experience not only that food, but the different wines, and to really drink the different wines the way they're meant to be enjoyed, and to let somebody tell you about it, like as opposed to trying to figure it out yourself. Well, when you're at the wine store, you're like, I don't know wine. Having a sommelier kind of do it for you is great. And then, you can take a picture of the bottle so you can try and find it yourself, or when you're home, or you write down the kind of wine or the year, whatever. They're very educated in that. As I say, they're all about the service. So they want you to enjoy the best meal possible. So, you can only do that if you have the unlimited drink package. And that was the thing, because she'd come around and she'd just make sure everyone at the table, because you have a card that you wear on a lanyard. And if you've ever seen people who go on cruises, they all have these collections of lanyards, because you can buy them in the gift shop, like sequined ones, rhinestoned ones. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And the other reason I suggest this is because A, if you're having one of those afternoons by the pool and you're just getting schmammer-mammered, it's okay because you're not paying extra. It's covered. You're not going to be kind of tackled on the way off the boat, off the ship. Sorry, don't call it a boat. You're not going to get tackled on as you exit because you have an outstanding bill. There was a molecular bar on this other cruise I went on, and they would do like drinks made with dry ice, and so that they would foam or bubble or whatever. It was really very interesting. Different kind of cocktails and things. And then I was on another cruise where just outside of the dining room, so as you're waiting to be seated, they had this martini bar. And the whole bar where you sat was ice. I mean, it wasn't carved out of ice, but it was a metal plate on the bar, like on the where you would put your drink, and it froze. So you could actually scrape ice off of it. But if you sat your drink on it, kept your drink cold. So it was spectacular. And so I love a dirty martini. I'm not a big drinker, but I will have a dirty gin martini every time. So yeah, I highly recommend, especially on your first cruise, don't cheap out on the drink package. Allow yourself to experience everything. And then, you can make better choices the next time. Now I am taking a P. Louise 235. Yeah, 235. There's nothing on it. And I'm just going to blend this all out. Just the yellow, bring it all out. Question number 5 is, what is the thing you were most surprised by on your first cruise? And I have to say, the level of service. The first day I got on the cruise, I found my room, and I hadn't even been in the room yet. I hadn't even gotten into it. And right away, there was a young lad, clearly, working for the cruise ship, because he was in a coat, like a uniform type of thing. And as I get to my room door, he's like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Ryder. How are you?" And I was like, "How did he know my name?" Well, of course he knows my name. He was my valet, concierge, or my room steward for the entire ship trip. And he was the person, like, if I needed anything, he would make it happen. And he was incredible. And I just wasn't ready for it. Like, the first day on the ship, when I went back to my room, I guess to get ready for dinner, I walk into the room, and he had been there to clean it between me leaving in the morning and me coming back at lunch. And it was just very funny because right on the bed, he had done this towel animal. I think it was an aardvark or something. I don't know. And he had put my sunglasses on it. So it was wearing my sunglasses, sitting on the bed, looking at the door. So when I walked in, there was this thing on the bed. It scared the crap out of me because at first I wasn't sure what I was looking at. And then I realized that he had taken my things and put them on, like it had handled my sunglasses. And there was like a part of me was like, what else has he been through? Like silly. But it just I've never experienced that. And every day there was a different animal on my bed, and it was charming. And this was the other thing, is tipping. Make sure, this was another thing I wish I kind of knew before I got on a cruise. Make sure you have American money, paper folding money, and you can either tip the person every day, leave like a $5 on the table, on the desk, whatever, wherever, under the TV, whatever, the dresser. That's it. It sounds like I'm leaving it for a hookah, but I'm not. But you can either leave a little bit of money every day, and trust me, when you do that, they will take care of you. If you wait till the end of the cruise, that's fine. But they might not be as quick to go go that extra mile with you because they're not sure if you're tipping. Like the people that tip all the time get the best service, and understandably. And so the best way to tip on a cruise is to, I think, leave a little bit every day just so that they realize you aren't a tightwad. And then on the last day, you can leave a better tip. If you have a favorite waiter by the pool and you tip him every time, or them every time they bring you a cocktail, they will be bringing you cocktails whether you ask for them or not. They will be on top of it for you. They will know your name. They'll know your favorites. They'll know if you like this brand over that brand, whatever. Same with your restaurant, your waiter, because you're at the same table every night and you get the same waiters, same sommelier. So, if you enjoyed that, the suggestions and that you were getting from the wait staff during dinner, tip them. Don't cheap out on the tipping is all I'm saying. Okay, now I'm not going to necessarily cut my crease because I've kept a lot of this makeup up high, but I am going to take the BH Cosmetics Base Booster. This is great for shimmers or whatever. Okay, question number 6. What is the best advice that I have been given before going on a cruise? Well, I don't know if this was the best advice, but it was impressive advice. And it was, if you are drinking on a budget on a cruise, because they will check your luggage. You're not allowed to bring any outside alcohol. You're also not allowed to bring any drugs, understandably. But when you're on a gay cruise, don't ask me how, but the gay cruises I've been on, everyone seems to have marijuana. Everyone seems to have ecstasy or whatever they're taking. I don't know how they're getting it on the boat because they do check your luggage. But somebody said to me, if you want to take some alcohol with you, the best thing to do is take a bottle of Scope. Not a big one because that's suspect, but a little travel size, like maybe that size. Fill it with vodka and blue dye. It was interesting advice, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go into now with this is just a flat brush. It's actually the brush that I put my base booster on. And I'm going to do a combination of Slither and Regal. I'm going to do the green in the outer corner, and then most of it's going to be yellow. So that's what I'm going to do. What's my best advice that I can give somebody before they get on a cruise? Don't take alcohol or drugs with you. The reason I say this is you can get kicked off a ship. They will leave you. They're totally legally allowed to deny you access to the boat. I think the first thing they'll do is confiscate stuff, but if it's a problem, they will kick you off. Also, there were some things that I wasn't... Gay cruises are a lot different than straight cruises. For instance, with gay cruises, most of the time the morning announcements, because they have morning announcements, they also will bring around a little, it's like the ship newspaper, but it's the, like that day. So if it's Monday, you get when it says the date, the weather, where you're going, when the ship will be leaving, all of the important things. And then maybe like what's the entertainment that night? Is there like an event, like a party on the gay cruise in the morning? There would invariably be an announcement that would involve them saying, "Please don't have sex in the sauna." Very funny. I just thought that it's like only on a gay cruise. I was surprised they didn't say, "Please don't have sex in the elevators." That was the other thing. My first gay cruise, I was on an elevator and I looked down on the floor of the elevator and it had Monday on it. And it didn't strike me that it was Monday. And then the next time I was on the elevator, I looked down and it was like Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. And it was a different elevator. I thought all the elevators were named different days of the week, but no, they had these plates that they would put down every Monday. All the elevators said Monday, so you'd know what day it was. Because you can lose time on a cruise ship. I tell you what. That was something that made me laugh about myself. It's just like, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I'm in the Monday elevator. I think somebody said to me, "What do you mean?" It's Monday. They all say Monday. Today's Monday. I'm just going to go into this blue blurply shimmer right here and just blend out the green a bit into my outer corner. Question number 8 is favorite place to cruise. Now, I've only been on 4 cruises, and 3 of them were through the Caribbean, and 1 was in the Mediterranean. If I were going to go on a cruise today, I would want to go on an Alaska cruise because they look like they're a hoot. Also, Alaska, I think just the visuals, whenever I've seen pictures of cruises in Alaska, it just looks so unique. Like the landscape is just so unique. So I would want to go on an Alaskan cruise, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're going on a cruise just to get away, and maybe it is a gay cruise or whatever, sometimes it's just good to get away. Do you know what I mean? If you're not interested in where you're going, go on a Caribbean cruise. Just watch out you don't go during the rain season because the water can be quite choppy. I'll tell you, one of the best things about being on a cruise ship, doesn't matter where you are, going to bed at night because the boat rocks a little and you just out like a light. I've never slept better. Here's something else that I think is good advice. Go early. Most places, ports of call, like for Caribbean cruises, it's mostly out of Florida. Sometimes they're out of New Orleans, anywhere around there in the Gulf, you know. I had to fly to Barcelona to go on that cruise. And every time I've been on a cruise, I land the day the ship leaves. So it just makes for a little bit of tension because you don't know if there's going to be a delay on your flight. You're going to find your luggage. How do you get to the ship? Sometimes the city that you're in can be hard to travel through in a cab. I think the best thing to do would be to go a day or 2 early and see the city that's your port of call, especially Barcelona. As I was driving through Barcelona to get to the port, I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd spent an overnight, at least one. So this is a glitter liner from Rude Cosmetics. It's called Gimme Glitter. It's just a liquid liner. I'm just going to highlight my cut crease with it. Just like to put a little extra shimmer. And the nice thing with something like this is it's not as defining as, say, a graphic liner where you end up with a line. So if you kind of make a mistake or go swampy with it, it's just glitter. So it doesn't really show up like say you were doing a hot pink or white, you know, any of that. It's a little more forgiving. Just adds that extra little hello. I also like to put a little bit just up here under my eyebrow, just a little, just to let them know who's boss. All right, I'm going to do my eyeliner just very quickly. I'm using the Rude Cosmetics Police Line Up Liner. Just throw it on here. I have to say, this is one of my favorite liquid eyeliners, like eyeliner pens to use. It doesn't seem to get gummed up by other makeup. I'm just going to take a very, very fine angled brush, and I'm going to go into Primal to the black. This is one of the things I love about this palette, the big white and the big black palette. As I say in the blends, I've already hit pan on the white, but look at all the white that I have in here, so it's good to go. So I'm just going to set my eyeliner with this, but I'm using a very fine angled brush. I don't know who made this. I don't know. Question 9. Best things to pack. Well, I would definitely pack a sleeping mask because you're out in the ocean. Doesn't matter what side of the ship you're on. When the sun is out, the sun is out. Do you know what I mean? If you like to sleep in, wear a sleeping mask. Trust and believe. here's something else. If you're not interested in having a balcony or hanging out in your room necessarily, maybe you're going on a gay cruise and you're just there for the hot times, I would also save some money and book an interior room. The rooms without any windows, no balcony, no nothing, are the best for sleeping. You just go in there, it's dark. It could be any time of day, you don't know. Once the door's closed, it's just dark and quiet, and the first cruise I was on, the Mediterranean one, I was on an interior room, and that was the best. I loved it. I wasn't getting off the ship every day, so I didn't need to get up early, and I didn't need to sit on a balcony, because I was alone on that one. Well, I'm alone on all of them, really. I just would go out to one of the public areas and sit, like either outside. I sunburn very easily, so I don't like to sit in the sun. So everywhere I wanted to sit on the ship wasn't always populated because people were out on the open decks and things. But I would definitely pack a sleeping mask. I would also pack earplugs, because especially on a gay cruise, it can be very loud. And I'm not talking the people, like the music. It's just everywhere you're going, you know what I mean? It's a nice moment to break away from that sound. And the best way to do it is with a like the earplugs. Even if you're not, I'm not a person who wears earplugs or a sleeping mask at the best of times. So having those, not having those that first time was fun because I was in an interior room. But the second time I was just so surprised at how much noise there was. And you can buy all of this on a boat, but it's expensive. You know, it's better to have it, go to the dollar store and get stuff and then go. I also bring good walking shoes, not for the ship, but for when you get off the ship. You want a good walking running shoe or something like that. If you're doing a lot of off-ship excursions, bring substantial footwear. Okay, so I am going to just go off camera to finish with my contour and blush, the under eyes, throw on some lashes and some lips. I will be right back. Shut your face. And there's the finished look. This is my favorite wig for Pride. It was sent to me by the fabulous Aunt B. It is a Webster wig, and it is in the Malibu Sunset, I think is the color. I don't remember what the cut was. But yeah, I love this wig. I think this is great, especially for Pride, because it's just all the colors, all of them. And we have one last question in this collab. So in full face, the last question is, what to avoid on a cruise? I would avoid being in a bad mood or being impatient. If you're an impatient person or you tend to not like other people and get a little lippy, especially if you're hangry, avoid that or don't go on the cruise. That's the only thing I could suggest is if you know yourself well enough to know that you just don't like dealing with people you don't know, cruise might not be for you. But short of that, I would avoid being in a bad mood. I would avoid situations that escalate a bad mood. All of that. That is my suggestion. Now, I want to thank Jan for asking me to do a collab with her. I will put a link down below to her website so you can check out her channel and see what all she's got going on. She's got some great videos. She's got her Blue Monday series where she does a look on Mondays in blue. She does her Copy Kitty series where she tries to recreate a look that somebody else that she admires has created. Really a lot of fabulous makeup too. Her collection is very diverse and expansive. She's got a lot of brands that I don't have that I'm intrigued by, but not all brands are great for drag queens. Blend Bunny is a great brand for drag queens, and I want to say once again, we used the Blends palette and the Primal palette. I also today used the Noctilescent palette from Highlights. Ooh, glaring. And the Sweet Cheeks palette from Blush. Ooh, blushy. As far as cruises go, there are a lot of cruises out there. Google search. Don't rush yourself. I think that's another thing to avoid. Don't just sign up for a cruise to get out of Dodge. If you don't really have a preference as to where to go, really look into it. The ships are all different. Every ship has different amenities on them. Some of them have climbing walls. Some of them have extra pools. Some of them allow dogs. They have dog areas with fake grass so you can let your dog walk around. Some of them, different cruise lines don't stick to different routes either. If you like the, I can't think of any of the names of any of the companies, but they're all out there and they all go everywhere. I think the European ones stay mostly in Europe, but I know with the Caribbean ones, sometimes those ships will go up to Alaska, sometimes they'll go up the East Coast to Newfoundland and all that. They really do. The different cruise lines, as I say, they're very different. Check out what the amenities are as far as the different bars, the different, some cruises are great for kids. If you don't like kids, avoid the kid-friendly cruises. There's no shame in that. A lot of people don't have kids on purpose. But research those cruise lines. Take your time. The other thing I'm going to tell you is avoid paying full price for a cruise. There are a lot of deals out there, especially when you are on a cruise. If you are enjoying that cruise and that particular cruise line, they often, about midweek to the last couple of days before the cruise docks and you disembark, they will start selling cruise packages for the next year, like a year in advance. And all you have to do is put a deposit down and you're going to get a huge discount on your ticket. It's a huge savings. There's really a lot out there. There's a lot of last minute cruise deals as well. I even see them advertised on YouTube. So I would avoid spending full price. You don't have to pay premium price for a premium experience. Short of that, as I say, I haven't been on a lot of cruises compared to Jan and her husband. But if you check out Jan's video and her channel, message her in the comment section and ask her what she has to say. She's been on quite a few. She's been to a couple of different destinations, a couple of different cruise lines. I think her referencing point is a little more expansive than mine. So don't be shy. Jan is a fabulous, super lovely woman who has absolutely no, she's not shy in letting you know her opinion. She's not going to tell you, but she's also going to just share valuable information. Make sure that you have the best time possible. And there you go. That's all I have to say. I want to thank Jan for including me in this collab. I want to thank you also for tuning in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do that. As you know, Wilma, my illegitimate drag daughter, and I are back reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race with All Stars 9, so you can check out those videos. I'll put a link to one of those up here or somewhere. Probably during the credits, you can see the link to one of our reviews there. Also, if you would like to help support this channel, liking and subscribing are good. Leaving a comment is even better. I love comments. I answer everything. And if you would like to support the Fingerdoo review even more, there are links in my description box down below for my Redbubble store. We can get some Wilma merch, my Patreon page where the Fingerdoo family meet twice a month for live chat, or you can leave us Tipperdoo through PayPal, or right under this screen, there's the YouTube thanks button. You can leave a Tipperdoo there as well. I hope that when you go on a cruise, you let me know. Let me know. Did you go? Have you been on one? Do you have an opinion? Share any of your thoughts on cruising down below as well. Let's share the wealth. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and miss me. Mwah! Happy sailing. Woo! Feeling it. Happy Pride as well. Woo! Pride Week, Pride Month. Oh my God. I live in the gay village in Toronto. It's Pride Month every month. I'm just saying.